company that's had it for all these years tried to get out of it 2 years ago. And now they're finally, told everybody, we're out. And then now it's up for grabs. No money in football.
So does that mean if it's on Amazon, it will not be on broadcast television?
Yeah, the idea that I read said that for all three, the other one was Disney, that all three services intended to make it excuse me, a subscription service in their high-end brackets. So they're talking about $300 a year or whatever, plus the subscription. Nobody knows for sure what it's going to actually end up, but it's still going on. I'm not a big.
That's good. There'll be more room for tennis on the sports channels.
Yeah. Did you watch the U.S. Open?
I had recorded it, and we're up to about day 5 watching it. So long.
It finished up yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but we've got the rest of it from day 5 on to watch still.
Yeah, don't tell them who won. Yeah, my household, the only sports we go for is baseball. My wife is the one who's the fanatic, and she's teaching me the game, which is really kind of interesting.
Well, for us, it's only tennis and figure skating.
I asked my wife to marry me, and she said, "Do you like sports?" And I said, "No." And she said, "I'll marry you."
Go ahead, Dorothy.
I just had a quick question. I know that Gmail has changed to Google Workspace when you launch it. And I read an article about G Suite for businesses changing to they have to pay per month. But I'm just wondering about people. This is only a Canadian thing. When TELUS.net migrated everyone to G Suite, will this affect TELUS people that you are aware of?
No.
That's what I thought.
No. And they renamed Gmail, with Workspace, but there's no cost to that, and you'll have no. It's a bit weird though, because some of my friends, they all use Gmail now because of course TELUS got rid of their email.
Well,
And
they're in G Suite though. It's different.
yeah, it goes to so it's not a Gmail account, and you think, what?
No, it's quite
I didn't even
different.
notice it, but I never even knew that happened.
Yeah.
Well, no, you had to get migrated, and depending on what device you used, but you
Yeah.
do have to toggle between G Suite and Gmail. They're both different. The verbiage, it says G Suite at.
Oh, is that right?
TELUS.net. Yeah. So.
You'll be fine. There's no.
It's not me. It's other people.
You'll be okay. There's no cost.
Okay. Thanks.
What I don't like is what they're doing. They've got too many G things out there. There's the workspace, which doesn't work really well, and there's this G board, and then you're talking about some sort of driving report, which I've never heard of. Where does that come from?
I'm still hoping they'll add a G string, but that might not happen.
Well,
Murray, that comes
let
from.
it all hang out,
Yeah, that comes
What'd you
from.
say, Ron?
That comes. So no, sorry. It's Google Maps. The image that we're getting comes from Google. I think it's Google Maps, isn't it, Hewie?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I think it's because I have an Android phone. I think the phone does the tracing.
Yeah, it sends you the.
Well,
I
it
think
does.
it's
It
a
does
Google
on an iPhone as well.
Oh, it does? Okay.
So what do? Just leave your phone on
No,
on Google
it
Maps?
doesn't matter. Just
No,
trash
just
it.
as long as your GPS is working, it does it from there.
Oh,
Some people think that's a bit creepy. You can turn it off. Actually, you can turn it off, but it doesn't. I don't really care. And as I said, I can't remember all the restaurants we go to, so that tells me where I've been. It's great.
But you can go back in the history too, so you can go back
Yeah, you can see where you've been and what
a year ago or 2 years ago.
Or 10 or 15 even.
Yeah.
If you had a GPS then.
So what will be real cool once we get everybody to electronic menus is you'll be able to see what you ate and then you can rate it. So you go back to the restaurant. What did I have before? And then that's the other thing. That's what I got to start to do is take a picture. If you really like something at the restaurant, take a picture of it. Then when you go back, you'll know, what did I have that was really good?
Yeah, but then are you taking the picture before you eat it so you don't know what it tastes like?
Ah,
but then afterwards you give a comment and say, gee, this was awful.
yeah.
Jim, that's where the delete button comes in handy.
Yeah, that's right. Take the photo out. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, I have a technical question about myself. Later on or earlier this year, I got the flu and it lasted less than 24 hours. So I went down to my doctor and I asked her, can I be checked for the coronavirus? And they did a nose swab and it came back negative. But I've lost all my flavor in my mouth and my taste. So I went to back to the doctor and I had her do a blood sample and they said, no, you don't have, and you did not get it. Well, why have I lost all my flavor in my mouth? I can't taste food.
Well, it's certainly, you could have had another virus, right? It's not necessarily that particular virus that causes problems. So you did probably have an infection, but it was by another virus that caused that problem. Or you've been eating too many Idaho potatoes. Particularly if they're hot, they'll do that to your mouth. So,
no, see, that's it. I eat really hot food. I love hot flavored food. And now I can't hardly taste anything.
You burn them up.
Well, will it
Burn
come
your
back?
taste buds.
My question is, will it come back? And it's been about 7 months.
It might or it might not.
That's my answer. That's
the unofficial and the official answer.
Yeah, that's what I used to charge money for it. And I said, well, it may or may not.
And I'd have to give that advice for free.
That's the official medical diagnosis.
Yeah.
This maybe or not, or
maybe.
I've got
Maybe
something
is always a
that's
good
called
one.
idiopathic, which means we don't know where it came from.
Yeah, that's right.
Greg,
I've
only
got
time
another
will
problem
tell.
which might be different, and that is that I've been finding over the last while that when I wake up in the middle of the night, I've got a bad taste in my mouth, and it
Don't wake up during the night.
There you go.
That would cause other problems.
Go ahead, Diane.
I have a question about Zoom. Is that okay?
Yeah. We're supposed to be a techie. I hate it when we get on the health stuff. So we're supposed to be a techie group here.
Oh, well, I just joined in, so I thought I missed something.
No, stick to tech. So that's good. Zoom questions are excellent. Thank you.
Well, I have a Zoom account for my club, and I just wanted to know if anyone could figure out what happened. I always set up the meeting and send out the link on my desktop. And so this past Zoom meeting, I wasn't going to be there to be able to let people in. So I just took the waiting room off. And the other guy who was the host, I was going to be traveling. So I was in the car and I said, I'll log in early so you can get in. And then I had an appointment at 3 o'clock when we started. So I didn't think any problems, but I could not get in on my phone, my iPhone. And I logged in and everything, and it would not let me in to access my scheduled meeting. So I'm sure I did something wrong in setup. If anybody have any ideas?
Did you get any error message?
Pardon?
Any error message?
No, there were no error messages. It just kept going around and saying the host will let you in. Well,
it's your host. No, you had made somebody else a co-host, right? You weren't there.
I don't really know how to do that. I didn't do that. I set it up, so I was still the host. I just took off the waiting room, and I was going to log in so he could get in and then take over the meeting. So I didn't really purposely make him the host, and he couldn't get in either, even after I told him my login.
So probably, Diane, what is happening here is you said this is your computer club Zoom account.
Yes.
Are you sure on the mobile app on your phone that you were logging in under the computer club's signature? Because the most likely issue here is it's a different account you're logging in on your computer. On your computer, it's going to log you in automatically, because when I come down to my studio here, I never worry about anything. It just logs me into the account. Everything's fine, but not so on your mobile phone, particularly if you haven't done it before. So the most likely cause of that would be is it's not recognized. You're not logged into the right account. Okay.
Well, I only have one account, but let me tell you what else happened when I didn't think I had my password with me. So when I logged in, it gave me 4 choices, Google, Apple, Facebook, all that stuff. So I thought, oh crap, I forgot my password.
Right.
So I went ahead and logged in. I remember my Apple password, so I logged in with my Apple password. So then, of course, it said, you're not the host.
Right.
So
Correct.
I shut everything off. I shut everything down. I even turned my phone off and on. Yeah, I realized what I had done. So then I found my password and my Zoom. I only have one account, and I turned it back on and I logged in, and it went right back to the same thing. It said,
That one account is your club account, is it? That's the only
Yeah.
account you.
that's the only account I have. As far as
Yeah.
I know, I had a free one to begin with, but I upgraded the free one to the club account. So there shouldn't be 2 out there. And they had the same password.
Well, if you had a free account, then you've still got that account.
So when
Maybe
I
you logged into the
upgraded-
free account.
That's what I think's happened. That's what
I
I
think
think's happened.
So you
I
think
think
Tried
she
to
was in
log
the
into
wrong
it tried to log you into your free account.
That's
instead of
right.
you
the club
think I
account.
have 2? You think I have 2 accounts?
Yeah.
If
And
you
it's
had
going,
logged-
yeah.
Okay.
If you had logged into the same account, it would have said you're already logged into the meeting. Would
Right.
you like to take over that account? So you
Yeah.
must have come in from a different ID.
Maybe I'll just try it again. I just thought maybe there was a quick response to say,
Okay.
oh, I've done that before.
Yeah, the best way in the future is to make the other person a co-host. And then you
I'm
can
not
leave
sure
it.
I have a paid account. I'm just not really sure how I do that because
It's easy. I mean, I don't know to discuss it. now,
yeah,
but, you can, I'm sure there's YouTube videos. I
okay.
do it all the time, and then way I actually leave and somebody else now is hosting the meeting.
Okay, so you can make him a co-host when you set it up.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Once
All
they've
right.
signed in, just do a right click on their picture, and one of the options will be to make them a co-host.
Okay, well, I know how to do that. I just didn't know how to make him a co-host if I was sending out the link.
Yeah, I actually click on participants, and then when I see their name, there's the option there to make them a co-host.
Yeah, but she's
Okay.
talking about before the meeting. She's not in the meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
After.
I'm
hasn't
talking
joined the
about when
meeting.
I set up the link and I set up the meeting. I've looked through all that menu and I want to make him a co-host then, and I can't find it. But I'll Google it. That's what I mean. I know how to make a co-host after I'm in.
Oh, okay.
Another option is to go to the Zoom site. They have all kinds of documentation and tutorials.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, I'll try that too.
That's a common thing, Diane, that people would want to do. It's a very,
Yeah.
very common thing. So
Okay.
the answer to your question is a simple one. There's lots of videos out there that show you how to do that.
Okay, we just wanted to figure out how to do it before next month. So,
Just, yeah, there'd be lots of good support on in Zoom in their support section, or
mhm.
I just do a YouTube search on when I'm on YouTube, and there's so many videos about that. It's so easy to find. You'll find
Okay.
something that'll show you exactly what you want.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I just thought I'd ask.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I've got a problem now. This is technical. My screen just froze. The computer froze, leaving the images of my last screen up. the only way I could get out of it was by doing a hard shutdown, total shutdown, and then restart and then rejoin the meeting. And this seems to keep happening. I'm using a Lenovo laptop, and I've taken it to people and had it checked, and everybody says, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's your internet.
Are you using an extra screen or are you talking about the screen on your laptop?
Both.
So you have another monitor plugged into your laptop.
Yeah, through an HDMI, I've got a Roku 32-inch smart TV.
And you're
And that-
plugging.
In both froze?
The monitor off and then on again?
It just freezes.
What freezes? Is it the TV that freezes?
I've had that happen before too, and I just turn the monitor off and then turn it back on again and it comes
Yeah.
back up.
Okay, well, I'll try that next time.
Jim,
Yeah.
what is freezing? Is it the TV that's freezing? Or is it the monitor on your laptop?
He froze again.
Yeah.
I think he said it was both.
That's bandwidth.
Or it's the HDMI cord, or it's the HDMI cord.
Yeah, except that he said it was both.
But he's frozen now, so it's
Yeah, so we
gotta be
can't
more
answer that,
than an
yeah.
HDMI cord.
He's
I would try
using
it.
he's using those frozen Idaho baked potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that it's a lot of those situations, it's the HDMI cord.
Yeah, except that if it's both the laptop, I mean the
Yeah.
laptop screen and the TV, I don't think that's HDMI cable.
Well, I think sometimes when you plug it in, there's some sort of connection there, and it can freeze both the display ports.
Yeah, it would depend on whether he had just the second monitor only, the primary monitor only, or a combination of the
I
two.
think sounds like he's got the both.
Yeah. Jenny, go ahead.
You're muted.
Jenny, go ahead. Jenny Garrick.
I have the same problem, and it's the internet.
Yep.
If your computer freezes, obviously your TV is going to freeze as well.
Right.
Google Chrome doesn't recognize AOL. This morning, I finally have changed to Microsoft Edge, and it looks like it's going to cure that problem, but the internet problem is still there. So he's having the same issues, and I also have a Lenovo laptop.
Oh, do you? Okay, great. Okay. Thanks, Jenny.
But why would the internet cause your screen to freeze? I mean, I've often had internet problems, but that have caused maybe the browser not to work, but certainly the start menu and everything, all that kind of stuff still worked.
It's the bandwidth. Ron freezes every once in a while, and he has gigabit service or gigabit and a half, I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
catch that he's got.
I mean, if you could disconnect the Ethernet cable, why would everything else other than things that depend on the internet freeze?
Well, for starters,
It's Zoom that's
Ethernet
freezing.
is the most reliable.
Oh, I thought he said the computer was freezing.
Ethernet
itself.
is the most reliable source of signal for the internet. Wi-Fi fluctuates all over the place. That can cause a lot of freezes, dropouts of audio, etc.
But if he's
Okay, I'm back. It just
but
froze
is
again.
it everything
I
that
was
freezes,
totally
including
kicked off.
you can't
When I restarted the machine, it came back and says Avast secure browser didn't shut down properly.
Yeah, because
but
you froze
was
and you
everything
killed it.
freezing? Like
pages.
you couldn't click on your
I
start menu
restored
or
the
anything?
pages, but I still didn't get back.
So
Into the live
everyone, hold
meeting, I
on.
had to
Whoa,
go to the
whoa,
link.
whoa. We gotta start the show.
Whoa.
We gotta start the show,
Anybody
you
hear me?
guys. We gotta start the show.
Don't forget to
So-
put in the link for the premiere service.
I will do that. All right, let's get ready to start the show here. And I'm going to mute everybody. We can unmute yourself with the space bar, but I'm going to mute everybody right now so we get going. Good morning. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host this morning. This is Tech for Senior, episode 129, season 3, and this is September the 12th, 2022. Welcome, everyone. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching and thank you for being here. If you're in our live audience today, thank you so much as well. Today, we have an excellent program for you today. We're going to start, of course, with the security news, and then Ray's going to talk about foldable flip phones. Hewie's going to talk about the text extractor and screening ruler. Interesting presentation. I saw it yesterday. And Bob's going to talk about old gadgets, refurbishing old things. And then Ray, of course, is going to finish off with his music videos. And so that's our show for today. And welcome. For those of you who are going to be listening to our premiere service today, our 3 selections, and I'll be putting the link in the chat for you. It's also in our Saturday newsletter. Hewie is going to talk about sending large files in email. If you've ever had and you wanted to send a big file and all of a sudden your service provider says, no, you can't send it, it's too big. He's going to tell us all about sending large files by email. I'm going to talk about other purposes to use your e-bike for. So those of you who have e-bikes and want to see some other things to use your e-bike for, I'll show you that today. And Bob's going to talk about 5 reasons for using a VPN. And all those will be on our premiere service that will be at 1/2 the hour. Our meeting goes for about another hour. As you know, we broadcast this out on Mondays. We broadcast it to YouTube. So if you can't actually log in with our Zoom meeting, you can certainly watch it on YouTube. People wonder, how do I get there? How do I find where to go? Well, all you have to do is go to our website, www.techforsenior.com, and there's a big red button there. You click that and it'll take you to our YouTube site. We also have a show on Thursday called Tech for Senior Live, where we go over the news of the week and we drink some coffee, have a good chat. And that this week, Bill James will be joining us. And that is not a Zoom meeting. So we get a lot of people every Thursday, and I watch at 9 o'clock. There's a bunch of people log on to the Zoom meeting expecting to see the meeting. Well, they're sitting there usually till Monday because we're not there. So on Thursdays, it's not a Zoom meeting. We broadcast that out through a company called StreamYard, and that goes right to our Facebook page or to our YouTube. Same place this is broadcasting over on YouTube. So you can watch it live either on our Facebook page or YouTube. So that's what happens. We also have a podcast. We podcast our Thursday show out. Let you know that last month, it's gone up now, 24,000 people watched 720 videos that we produced in the last 3 years now, soon to be 4. So anyway, lots of activity, lots of fun. We're having a great time, right, Hewie?
Yep, and that doesn't count the videos on my channel and on Bob's channel.
Bob's channel, and yeah, exactly. So yes, indeed. So anyway, let me introduce everyone this morning. Of course, I think we all know Hewie Poplock, co-host today. Hi. You had a great on Sunday. Your SIG did really well.
Yeah, it was the first time we've combined the Sarasota Technology User Group, STUG, and the Central Florida Computer Society, CFCS, into one special interest group. It's hasn't changed anything, but it is now a special interest group for 2 different groups at the same time. And we had 67 people, and it was a good afternoon. I learned some things, everybody else learned some things, and we had a good time.
Now, if people wanted to come to that next in 2 weeks, is that
4 weeks?
4 weeks. They would sort of go to your website and have a look at and then sign up.
Yeah, there's a form to sign up for the WinSig newsletter, And do sign up for that, because I send it out once a month, and it lists everything I'm going to cover. Everything's going to be covered in the CFCS main meeting and the STUG main meeting as well. And there's usually an article or two there for them. So it's a good newsletter, and it's only once a month.
Right. Which reminds me, our newsletter comes out twice a week on Tuesday and on Saturday. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, Tech for Senior newsletter, please do so. We don't put any advertising in there, and it's not really a newsletter. It's a letter that we like to keep in touch with you, just to let you know what the happenings are at Tech for Senior. Otherwise, we have no idea who you are. We don't sell any advertising in it. We don't, and we don't sell the distribution list at all either.
And we have usually there's at least 2 different articles every issue that are very interesting and a lot of good information.
And on Saturday, I put the agenda in for the Monday show. So if you want to find out what's going to happen on Monday, it's in the Saturday newsletter. It's free. Just sign up for it, and we send it out to just under 900 people each twice a week. So it's a popular newsletter, and so please sign up if you haven't. Then we can keep in touch with you. Bob, I like the cool shades.
Thank you.
Is this a permanent feature of your new look, or what?
It might. I've had lots of good comments on it, but that's not exactly why I wear it. I had surgery. They lifted my eyelids, and my eyes right now are not something that you really want to show off. So I don't want to scare anybody and have them not attend, because I look like some ghoul. So the glasses were something I added. They're actually my wife's glasses. But I've had so many good comments that I told my wife, "Hey, hon, better pick up another pair of glasses."
Yeah, I don't think Alice is getting it back. All right. Okay. Thanks, Bob. And Ray, we'll be talking soon. You'll tell us all about your phone and all the exciting things happening with it. So anything new on Pine, Arizona?
No, the heat is gone. It's in the low 70s now. It's been in the upper 50s at night, just the kind of weather I moved here for. So I love it.
Are you getting ready for the big migration of all the northern people coming down for the winter?
I don't have to get ready, because then I kind of avoid Phoenix and Mesa and places like that when it gets so crowded, when the snowbirds come in.
The snowbirds are on their way. They'll be starting soon, eh?
Yeah, they will be here too.
yeah, that's right. In Florida, that's for sure. Well, all right. I just wanted to briefly mention last week was the big announcement of the iPhone 14 as this comes out. And I wanted just to remind everybody that there's a unique feature only in the United States with the i14. And that, of course, is you will no longer have a SIM slot in the i14 phone. It's all going to be in what we call an electronic SIM. Now, this is some good news and bad news. The security-wise, it's great because you can't have your SIM stolen. Bad news is if you travel internationally and you're used to putting SIM cards in from local countries, it isn't going to work. Also, the other big problem is if you have consumer cellular or you have one of the smaller companies, MNVOs we call them, then these companies often don't have eSIM capability. So before you go and snap up a phone in the United States, because these phones are only the ones in the United States, the ones sold in Canada and the rest of the world all have a SIM card slot. You may want to consider that before upgrading. I just thought I'd run that by everybody to let you know. All right, Bob, are you ready to roll with our security?
I am getting ready. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending September 9th, 2022. HP Support Assistant has a DLL hijacking vulnerability. HP published an HP Support Assistant security advisory on its website on September 6th, 2022. According to the information, HP Support Assistant is vulnerable to DLL hijacking. DLL hijacking is a common attack technique that exploits weaknesses in the DLL loading order on Windows. If programs do not specify library paths properly, attackers may exploit the weakness by placing malicious DLL files in locations that are prioritized over the location of the legitimate DLL file. The vulnerability has a severity rating of high, the second highest after critical. HP published an update for its HP Support Assistant software that includes the fix. The company recommends that customers turn on automatic updates to install the latest version. Alternatively, customers may download the latest version of HP Support Assistant from the official website. Just follow this link. See more at ghacks.net. Major new Google Chrome security bug. If you're using Google Chrome or a Chromium-based browser, whether on Mac OS, Windows, or Linux, it's time to check for a critical security update. The security lapse involves a collection of back-end libraries called Mojo, which are used by Chromium-based browsers, including Opera, Brave, and Microsoft Edge. The Avast security browser was also affected, and it has been updated. The zero-day vulnerability is classified as high severity. Google's update patch fixes the vulnerability and updates your current version of Chrome to version 105.0.5195.102. If you haven't applied the recent update, or if your updates aren't automatically enabled, update the Chromium-based browser as soon as possible. Read more at CNET. Hackers claim to have breached TikTok. Who would have thought that TikTok would decide to store all their internal back-end source code on an Alibaba cloud instance using a trashy password? Blue Hornet tweeted on September 3rd. The threat group, also known as Against the West, said it had already pulled out over 790 gigabytes of data. In total, the threat actor has already extracted over 2 billion records. Considering the entries are from all over the world, it is unlikely we will sell or release this. Lastly, the data contains a lot of underaged people. Releasing such information along with the data that is being stored without users' knowledge is so dire that we think it would spark something dangerous, Against the West said on breach forums. TikTok is neither confirming or denying the breach claim. Read more at Cyber News. If you've listened to my podcast and other entries, by now you know there have been lots of breaches within TikTok. My best advice is simply get off TikTok. The U.S. imposes new sanctions on Iran over cyber attack on Albania. The U.S. Treasury Department on Friday announced sanctions against Iran's Ministry of Intelligence and Security and its Ministry of Intelligence, Ismail Khatib, for engaging in cyber-enabled activities against the nation and its allies. Since at least 2007, the MOIS and its cyber actor proxies have conducted malicious cyber operations targeting a range of government and private sector organizations around the world and across various critical infrastructure sectors, the Treasury said. The agency also accused Iran's state-sponsored actor of staging disruptive attacks aimed at Albanian government computer systems in mid-July 2022, forcing it to suspend its online services. Read more at the Hacker News. U.S. seizes cryptocurrency worth $30 million stolen by North Korean hackers. More than 30 million worth of cryptocurrency plundered by the North Korean linked Lazarus Group from online video game Axie Infinity has been recovered, marking the first time digital assets stolen by the threat actor have been seized. The seizures represent approximately 10% of the total funds stolen from Axie Infinity, accounting for price differences between time stolen and seized, and demonstrate that it is becoming more difficult for bad actors to successfully cash out their ill-gotten crypto gains. Aaron Planty, Senior Director of Investigations at Chainalysis, said, read the whole story at Hacker News. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Make sure you know the difference among the various state laws when they go into effect and whether or not they apply to your particular business. Read the article at the link listed. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. That was great. The bad guys are still at it, I see.
They will never stop, not as long as they keep making money.
They do indeed. Well, all right. I wanted to move now into talking a little bit about foldable and flip phones. And one of the things that everyone needs to know is that, of course, there are such a thing as a foldable and a flip phone. The foldable, of course, opens up on itself and makes a bigger phone. The flip, of course, flips it down like we had when we started cell phones many, many years ago. These are immensely popular now, and these foldable screens. In fact, since being introduced, and they're being developed by Samsung Display, which of course is the subsidiary in Samsung Electronics that makes almost all the OLED displays and LCD displays in the world today. They sell them to Sony and a lot of other companies that make displays. And the immense popularity of the flip phone is incredible. Like the Flip 3 and the Flip 4 that's made by Samsung is an incredible piece of equipment. And I wanted Ray to tell us his experiences today with that. But the interesting thing I find is that, of course, Apple's big reveal event last week, no mention of any foldable or flip phones. So where are we going with this? Ray, tell us. This is, I think, a very interesting technology. I think you think it as well. So tell us your experience about it.
All right, let me share my screen. All right, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. Now the Flip 4 just came out. I'm going to be talking mostly about the one I picked up, the Flip 3. It's a 5G phone, and these are my first impressions after using it for about a month. I'll be back. Who said that famous movie catchphrase? I'll be back. Well, of course, 1984 science fiction film, The Terminator. Now, believe it or not, he used this phrase or a similar one in 6 more films. Now, flip phones were very popular at the turn of the century, although they did not go by that name at that time. Instead, they were known as clamshell phones. They stood out as the first to feature built-in cameras. Did you own a clamshell phone? Look at some of these pictures. I had one there. Remember the antennas that would pull out so you can get a better signal? Now, some of the more popular brands included Motorola with the iconic Razr, Samsung, LG, Sanyo, Nokia, and Ericsson. Some of these brands are no longer in the cell phone business. I doubt any of these still work on the 4G, LTE, and 5G systems in use today. Going, gone. The clamshell style cell phone started to disappear in the mid-2000s from the market as the public wanted more screen real estate on their mobile device, which today we call a candy bar style. The popularity of Apple's iPhone, which debuted in 2007, was a major contributing factor. So why I wanted a flip phone and why I didn't get one until now. The main reason I wanted a flip phone was simply for the comfort of carrying it in my pants or even shirt pocket. For a guy who wears jeans most of the time, I never found a full-size cell phone in the pockets of my clothes comfortable. The main reason I did not purchase one was the price. I once paid over $500 for a Windows flagship phone from HP, which 3 years later became a doorstop when Microsoft and my carrier stopped support. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, when it was released a year ago, August 2021, was a $1,000 phone. Now they've announced the release of the Galaxy Z Flip 4. Galaxy globally went on sale August 26. The Flip 4 starts at $1,000 for the base 128 gigabyte version and more for the two larger storage options. Now, there's not a lot of differences between the Flip 3 and the Flip 4. The main ones are the Flip 4 now has a one generation newer Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor. It has an additional storage option of up to 512 gigabytes. And it's a slightly larger battery from 3,300 to 3,700 milliamp hours. Slightly updated camera for sharper photos, and a larger cover screen that is more customizable. The result is a dramatic price decrease for a brand new Flip 3. I was able to purchase one from Best Buy in early August for my Verizon account for $300. So what did I get with a year-old Flip 3 phone? Well, it's a 5G phone, so it's ready for the future. The battery is 3,300 milliamp hours. That's low capacity, but it is fast wireless charging. Storage, 128 gigabytes, while 256 is available. The processor was the Snapdragon 888. That was considered the fastest Android of 2021. RAM, 8 gigabytes. The resolution is full high definition, 2600 by 1080 pixels. The display is a 6.7 inch dynamic AMOLED screen. Now remember, it's half the physical size when flipped close. Water resistant up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. There's a specific IPX rating for that. The platform is Android 11, upgradable to Android 12. The camera is a main wide and then a second ultra wide, 12 megapixel, and the selfie camera is 10 megapixel. Video records at 1080p and also at 4K when using 30 frames per second with an electronic stabilization. The refresh rate is 120 hertz. Now that can be temporarily downgraded to 60 if you're looking for longer battery life. Stereo speakers, side-mounted fingerprint reader. Quite a lot of features on this phone. Now, what are the positives for me? Well, when closed, the phone easily fits into my pants or shirt pocket, yet when opened, the device has a 6.7 inch screen. Samsung says the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is rated for up to 200,000 folds. That's equivalent to 5 years of use if you fold and unfold the device 100 times a day. Now it has 8 gig of RAM, and AndroidAuthority.com says 8 gigabytes will provide a good multitasking experience plus some future proofing. For me, my old phone only had 4 gig of RAM, so this is a big improvement. And of course, the 5G speed. So I did a test with Verizon on their 4G LTE at home, and it was a paltry 21 megabytes up and 3.7 megabytes down. But when in Phoenix last week, I used the Verizon 5G that was available, and my speeds were more than double. Now, there have been some negatives mentioned by reviewers. The small capacity battery that may not last a full day of normal usage. I'm going to cover some of the solutions for that next. And then the lack of a micro SD card slot for additional storage. Yes, Samsung says performance is better when data is kept on the internal memory. I think the motive could be to encourage some to spend more money on a larger onboard storage option. And the lack of a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, please, that's no longer relevant as most use Bluetooth headphones. And for those still using wired headphones, adapters are available that plug into the USB-C connector. All right, here's my solution to the battery not being as large as some other phones. Most of the day, I'm working at my computer when I'm at home. Well, newer desktops and laptops have a USB-C port, the same as modern cell phones. This USB-C port allows for what's called fast charging. What does that mean? It means it can deliver and receive a charge at 15 watts as compared to the micro USB port on older phones, which is rated at only 10 watts. Many smartphone manufacturers say 60% charge in under 20 minutes. I took my phone from 0 to 100% in about 40 minutes. So, okay, let's say I'm not at home, but I'm driving around in my car. Well, that's when you charged your flip phone in the car, connecting the phone to a USB adapter plugged into a power outlet. Or you could use the USB connector that it comes with cars as well. Okay, now what do you do when you're not at home or in your car? And there will be situations when you are in those situations, such as hiking or just plain walking and taking pictures in a new city. These situations, when your phone needs a charge, have with you a fully charged portable battery power pack. One manufacturer claims its power station can fully recharge a smartphone twice to full power. Okay, now let's look at specifically at the phone. When it's folded at a right angle, they call that flex mode. And as you can see from this picture, now the one screen becomes two. So, and there's many examples of how you can use the two screens. And one example would be reading emails while watching a video. This is similar to having two desktop monitors, but obviously on a much smaller scale. So the flex mode for taking videos and photos. So you put it in that right angle mode, open it up halfway, and you set it on a flat surface, and you can then capture pictures and videos from various angles, hand-free, without the need for a tripod. A neat feature when traveling alone, as you can take selfies that look like someone else took your picture. Okay, Ray takes a video selfie. Here's my first selfie video taken with the Samsung flip phone. My wife wanted to know why I wasn't smiling. I did not have a good answer.
So here is a video of myself that I'm taking as a selfie. The phone is in its right angle position, and I have some controls on the bottom half, and I can see my image on the upper half. Could not be easier. Don't need a tripod or anything else to do this. Just easily done with the phone.
Now, my favorite feature is the flex mode for selfie picture taking. So again, you put the phone in the flex mode position, and all you have to do is say the word cheese, and the camera will automatically count off 3 seconds and take your selfie picture. And you can also raise your hand to start the 3-second countdown for your picture to be taken.
Cheese.
How easy was that? Now, I do recommend using a case. The phone can be slippery, so again, I recommend buying a case. In my case, my choice was a bright red color, so when I put it down on a dark surface, I can still find it. I can't tell you how many times I've lost my phone or misplaced my phone in the past. Now, I like the ones that have a magnet on the case because that allows me to, for an easy attachment to another magnet connected to a front dash car grille. And you can see there's a little U-hook there, and that operates as a stand to when I can watch videos without the need to hold the phone. There's a cover screen. The cover screen provides current notifications and battery percentage along with date and time in the closed position. Samsung Pay works by simply swiping the phone without the need to open it. Widgets can be set for music, weather, and other features to be controlled without opening the device. So a recap of my responses to the negative comments. People have talked about the fold crease. Yes, it can be felt and seen at certain angles. I quickly became used to it, and most reviewers say this is not an issue. The slippery feel, true. So get a case. Small battery, yes, the 3300 battery is relatively small by today's premium phone standards. But for me, it certainly lasts a full day since I'm usually at home or in the car where I can recharge when needed. Yes, no SD card slot. I've always liked that in my phones, but I've just learned to reduce the number of songs saved on my phone. And now actually I use my old phone that had a 200 gigabyte micro SD card as my MP3 player. And there's no optic telephoto camera lens, although it does have digital. As most of the photos I take are of people, not having this type of lens has not been an issue for me so far. So final commentary. Samsung also offers the Galaxy Fold 4, which is a full-size phone that opens double wide to form a mini tablet that runs $1,780.49 at Amazon. The Motorola Razr flip phone is Samsung's main competitor now, but no doubt other manufacturers will soon be entering this niche. My prediction is the flip phone will become as popular as the clamshells from 25 years ago, because with electronics in general, each year, as we all know, the products get better and over time cost less. There is so much more for me to learn about my new phone, but for now, I don't see myself ever going back to a full-size smartphone that I can't flip. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, Ray. That was great. For sure. I've got lots of questions for you, but we're going to save those for the Q&A.
Good.
Hewie, I think you're up next.
Let me unmute, and I want to go here. Two new power toys, text extractor and screen ruler. I'm Hewie Poplock. Two new additions to power toys are screen ruler, which is a quick and easy way to measure pixels on your screen, and text extractor, which is a convenient way to copy text from anywhere on the screen. Microsoft Power Tools is a set of utilities for power users to tune and streamline their Windows experience for greater productivity. Made by Microsoft and the Power Toys community. The Microsoft Power Toys were originally developed by Microsoft Research and released in 1998 as a way to demonstrate the power of Windows. Here is a list of the Power Toys. Some examples of these tools are Color Picker, which is a system-wide color selection tool for Windows that enables you to pick colors from any currently running application and automatically copies it in a configurable format to your clipboard, and Image Resizer, which is a Windows shell extension for simple bulk image resizing. Here are the two new additions to Power Toys, Screen Ruler, and Text Extractor. Let's do the demo. Let's take a look at Screen Ruler. Now, you might ask, why do you need a screen ruler? One is you might want to know what size a certain picture is, a space on a document. There are a number of reasons you might want to know how many pixels up and down, or how long something is, how much space is between one line and another. So there's a lot of reasons you might want to have a ruler. And let's take a look at a couple uses of the ruler. You'll see at the top, I've already clicked on the Windows Shift M keys combination, and that combination opens up the menu for your screen ruler. This is the menu up here at the top. Now, I had a little bit of a problem when I was going to make this video, that sometimes it came up and sometimes it didn't. I had to reboot a few times. I don't know whether it's a bug in the program or if I have some kind of a conflict. Either way, I've got it working. We'll take a look at it. So we have a picture here. We can do several things with this ruler. We can just check on the bounds of something, the spacing, horizontal spacing, vertical spacing, and the X shuts it off. Let's take a look. Let's do the boundaries first. This is an on-off switch, so once you turn it on, it stays on until you click it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the corner of this picture on this website, and I'm going to click and drag it down to the bottom part. It tells me it's 715 by 400. When I let go of it, that goes away, but I don't know if you heard the pop or not. That's a signal on my system that I copied something. So it puts it in the clipboard. So if I come over here, I've got Notepad open so we can look to see what I capture. Turn that off and then come over here and we're going to paste, and it's saying it's 715 by 400. So it measured that and then saved the measurement in the clipboard. You can measure anything you want. If you're doing the border, you could say, oh, I wonder how big this little box is. And let's see. And we've got to shut that off. Then we come down here. Let's go to the next line and do a paste. And it's 291 by 125. So you can measure the size of something. All right, let's take a look at a Word document. When recording this, I noticed that when I go to the other spacing, horizontal spacing and vertical spacing, I see a red line when I do that. So let's just look here, and I see a red line on here, but I think when I click that, you will not see that. And so I am going to skip this area, but you see what those three things will do. Now, what else could you do? Well, let's say you want to put a picture in your Word document and you want to have it on the side of, let's say, these three paragraphs. So you could say, okay, let's do the spacing here. And let's say we want it from here, and we want the picture to be about that much wide for the next to those three paragraphs. We let go of it. Then we can look over here, which you got to shut that off, come down here. And so we're going to look to put a picture in that is going to be 331 by 235. So somewhere around 330 across and 235 above. We want to keep it in the right proportion, so it depends on what our picture is. But we know that we want to keep it about 235 up and down. And then if it's a little bit more than 333, it'll just bring it over to the side of the page. So you can use this to measure anything you want, and that's how to measure things on your screen. For whatever reason you want to have them measured, you can. Now, another thing you might want to do is measure a particular window. If you're doing screen captures and you're going to leave it and come back, you want to know how big that window is. You might want to get the measurements of that window, and then you'll have the same size window when you start up the next time to continue the screen captures that you were doing for that particular presentation that you were going to be doing. Of the two new power toys, the one I'm excited about is Text Extractor, and it's one you'll probably find much more uses than the other. So let's take a look at a Facebook page. And sometimes you go to a Facebook page and you see it's a picture of something that's got words on it. In order to bring up the text extractor, you do Windows Shift and T for text. It grays the screen, and then you outline what you want the text to show. You heard the pop. That means it went into the clipboard. I come over here, and I'm just going to paste, and now I have that text as text that I can do anything I want. I can edit it, make a paragraph out of it, whatever I want to do with it. So there's lots of uses for this. Let's look at another use. All of your files that are in a particular folder. If I do the Windows Shift T for text again, and I want to grab just the file names of what's there. Now I come over here, let's clear this, and I'm going to now right mouse click and paste, and there are all of the file names listed there that are editable. I can move them around, I can put them in something, alphabetize them, whatever I want to do, which I think is a really good use of it. Another might be, let's take one of these articles that's here, And let's take this as a JPEG. And here's an article that was from an old newspaper. It's not real clear because it was taken from an old newspaper from many years ago. But let's go ahead. Windows Shift T. It grays it out. We're going to say, okay, we want to grab all of this information right here. We come over to our notepad. It could be Word or whatever you want to, whatever program you want to put it in. And then you just tell it, paste it. And there's that whole article. And it does a pretty good job of turning it into text. You might have to go back in and edit a few things, but for the most part, it does capture it, considering that's not a really good thing to copy. That same article was a PDF. So let's close that and open up a PDF of the same article. And you can see it here. And so now when we do the Windows key Shift and T, it grays it down a little bit. And we're going to take this information and grab it. And then close this, go over here, erase everything that's on there, and then we'll paste again. And again, it's the same article, and it actually did a better job from the PDF than it did from the JPEG, but it does either. So you can see you can grab anything that's on the page and make text out of it. Something else I noticed that I could do is, let's say you want a list of all of your icons that are on your desktop. Again, Windows key Shift and T, and remember that T is for text. It's an easy way to remember it. So let's just grab these. I heard the pop. That means it went into my clipboard. I'm going to delete this, and now I'm going to do a right mouse click and paste, and there are all of the items that are on the screen. And so I then have a list of all of the icons that I have on my desktop. So that's Text Extractor. Microsoft Power Toys, Text Extractor, and Screen Ruler. I'm Hewie Poplock. And there you go. There's a couple of questions in the chat box. We'll cover them in the Q&A session.
Thanks, Huey. That was great. I'm going to use that. That's a great program. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Bob. Reusing old things. Tech for senior. I guess we're all seniors, eh? Reusing old things.
Don't throw it away. Repurpose your old gadgets. Tech is constantly being outdated, and because of that, you might have a small gadget graveyard built up in your home. You spend a decent amount of money on all that stuff. It shouldn't go to waste. So before you get rid of it, let's go over some cool things you can do with those old dated pieces of tech. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Computers, especially your laptops, there's still life left in it. Turn it into a Chromebook. There is a way to squeeze some life and performance out of your old laptop or desktop before it finally dies out. Install Chromium OS on it. Chromium OS is the open source version of Chrome's Chromium operating system, and it's a less intensive operating system than something like Windows. While Chromium OS can't do everything more complicated operating systems can, for most people, it's a more than fine replacement. Why not use that old laptop as a second monitor? If you've got a Windows PC and a Windows laptop, you can wirelessly connect them so that the laptop can serve as a monitor to the PC. Having two monitors is always nice, and this is a simple way to add on to your current setup without dropping more money on a new monitor. Be aware this is a wireless connection, so there can be some delay. How about turning it into a Plex server? Plex is a great service for watching your digital copies of movies and shows anywhere. The thing is, you need a central server for your library to live on. Fortunately, the software for creating such a server is available for Mac and Windows. So the process of turning your old computer into a Plex server is fairly simple. Have a laptop with a broken screen? Turn it into a desktop. A laptop with a broken screen can feel useless. However, there's a simple way you can get more use out of it. Just use it as a desktop. Buy an external monitor or salvage an old one and you're good to go. You might need to purchase a USB hub with an HDMI port for this to work though. Turn that old desktop case into a useful box. Your dusty old PC may barely boot nowadays, but if you tear out all of the internal hardware, then the actual case can be surprisingly useful. At the end of the day, most PC cases are just big boxes, and there's a lot you can do with an empty box, from a geeky mailbox to a unique shelving unit. Also a great place to grow some vegetables or herbs. Don't throw out that old phone. That camera is still good. Old phones may no longer be fun to use, but there are some things you can do with their cameras, even if the cameras aren't good. Use it as a dash cam. A dash cam is an invaluable thing for drivers to have installed. But the price barrier and setup process can make it a difficult sell. But with a simple phone dock and a car charger, you can easily turn your old phone into a functional dash cam. Just be prepared to delete the old files off your phone regularly to free up space. You can also use it as a webcam. Webcams are a rare commodity nowadays, but it's simple to turn your phone into a wireless webcam. The app Irion is great for this and is available on iOS, Android, and Ubuntu. It's available for free at the link listed. You'll probably also want a tripod for your phone for a simpler setup. Those old tablets, turn them into appliances. Your old tablets may take a long time to boot up, but that doesn't matter as much if it's only serving one purpose. How about a dedicated weather station for both Android and iOS? While a tablet may slow down over the years, you don't exactly need a lot of power to check the weather. You can set your tablet up with a kickstand and a charger and always keep your weather app of choice open. With the added benefit of virtual assistants, this is a great way to keep up with the weather. You can also turn that old tablet into a dedicated calendar, both iOS and Android, and a to-do station. Forget wall calendars and notebooks. You can easily turn your tablet into a dedicated scheduling productivity station in a similar manner to the weather station. Just install your calendar and to-do apps of choice and set up your tablet with a kickstand and charger. How about a recipe machine? Another simple option by keeping a tablet in the kitchen just for recipes is useful. It's also nice to have something more disposable taking this place than the phone or tablet you use every single day. You can also turn your tablet into a smart home hub. If you're heavily invested in the world of smart homes, you're going to need a place to manage all of your smart devices. And old tablets are great for this, as devices like the Amazon Echo and Google Home have companion apps for tablets. Apple also fully supports the iPad to act as a home hub. Homebrew your game console. While game consoles may appear as restricted pieces of tech at first glance, there are some bonus ways to make use of them nowadays, besides playing their respective libraries of games. Homebrewing. This refers to flashing ROMs of various games digitally to a console's memory. The process is widely different for every console, and as such, the difficulty level is also varied. The Wii, and by extension Wii U, is one of the simplest consoles to homebrew. So if you've got one of those laying around the house, start here. Besides that, your mileage will vary depending on the system you have available to you. Research will be key here. You can also use that console as a media setter. Your old Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 may be more useful than you think. Both of these systems can read DVDs. The PS3 can even read Blu-rays, but they also have access to apps like Netflix and Hulu. The online stores for both of these are still up, so it's as simple as downloading the app and signing in. Despite their age, these systems are still fully viable media centers today. Here are the projects that don't fit into any of the categories above. That doesn't mean you should discount them, though. They're still cool. Don't throw out that old digital camera. Cameras can be used as webcams. Many digital cameras can serve as webcams with a simple cord. But for high-end DSLR cameras, the process can be more complicated. Fortunately, Sony, Panasonic, and Canon have all released software that makes it relatively simple to set up your fancy camera as a high-end webcam. How about adding Bluetooth to your old iPod dock? Did you buy a dock for your old iPod so that you could listen to tunes loud and clear? Chances are it's not getting much use nowadays, but it can still prove useful. Through an adapter from Xiacom, you can add Bluetooth functionality to your old iPod dock and use it the same way you would use any standard Bluetooth speaker. Here's something cool. You can turn an old monitor into a smart mirror. Why limit your mirror to only show yourself when you look at it? With a smart mirror, you could see the time, weather, and news all while getting ready for work. This is a do-it-yourself project you'll have to spend some time on, and depending on how fancy you get with the frame, it can be quite expensive, but the results will be well worth it. Hopefully, one of these suggestions will save your old tech from being dumped just yet. While old tech may not be as useful as the brand new devices, it's always nice to save some money and save the environment by repurposing something and keeping it out of the landfill for an extended time. My thanks to Eric Schoen for his excellent article on Review Geek. To read the whole article, just follow the link listed. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. Hey, some good ideas there.
Wow.
I can hardly wait to get going on some of them. That's great. I love the mirror. I gotta do that. That mirror's gotta where I can see the date and time in the mirror.
That's the most complicated of all of the.
Oh, but that's so cool, eh?
Have fun.
All right, listen. So I want to, before we get going on Ray's segment now, I just want to say thank you for those of you over on our YouTube feed. Thank you for watching today. We do appreciate it. And if you want to come over and participate in the Q&A, we still have lots of room in our Zoom meeting. And don't forget the premiere service. I put the link in the chat. We'll be starting at 1/2 the hour. And so we'll see you again on YouTube, same time, same place next week. I'm just going to end that now, Ray.